Kristaps, do you want to start?
Yes, can I? Okay, so labrīt, dārgie skatītāji. Laipni lūgti webinārā, kā HR speciālistam uzveikt krīzi. Es esmu Kristaps Eikmanis un es esmu biznesa un pārdošanas vadītājs Latvijā, Igaunijas uzņēmumam Recrur. Kas ir Recrur? Recrur ir personāla atlases automatizācijas rīks, kas ir paredzēts tieši priekš personāla atlases speciālistiem, HR nodaļām uzņēmumos, lai atvieglotu, organizētu un automatizētu šo visu darbu. Attiecīgi ir viens no svarīgākajiem būtiskajiem, kas mums visiem svarīgs, ir laiks, lai iekonomētu laiku. Recrur ir radies Igaunijā 2016. gadā. Latvijā jau pēdējos 2 gadus tiek strādāts Latvijas klientiem, tie Citadeles banka, Greenvex, Tamro Beno. Un tad no šī gada esmu pievienojies arī komandai un esmu atbildīgs tieši par Latviju. Attiecīgi, tad varam arī jau sākt par tēmām. Pirmā mūsu runātāja būs dāma Elita Kazaine, kur ir HR nozares profesionāla, lielu un daudz gadu pieredzi, kā arī biznesa coach. Elita stāstīs par šī brīža esošo situāciju HR nozarē. Pēc tam es atkal stāstīšu par rīkiem un veidiem, kurus varam izmantot tieši šajā saucamajā krīzes periodā, ka mums jābūt adaptīviem un inovatīviem. Un beigās, tas uzreiz ir piezīmēt, būs angļu valodā. Mans kolēģis, lieliskais mārketinga speciālists Mihkels no Igaunijas komandas stāstīs par sociālo mediju kampaņas procesiem. Tā kā jā, webinārs kopumā būs 1:15. Ceru, ka jūs tiešām iegūsiet ļoti veiksmīgu un vērtīgu informāciju. Droši paņemiet tējas, kafijas un mēs varam sākt. Elita, nodošu tev tālāk.
Paldies, Kristap. Labrīt visiem. Mans vārds Elita Kazaine, un man šodien ir tas ārkārtīgi sarežģītais uzdevums pastāstīt, kas šobrīd notiek tirgu. Un tad, kad mēs sākām šo te prezentāciju gatavot, tad man bija arī lūgums, lai es sagatavoju kaut kādus statistikas datus. Un tad brīdī, kad es sagatavoju statistikas datus un pienāca šis rīts, es vienā brīdī attapos, kad ārprāts tie statistikas dati patiesībā ir veci, tāpēc, ka situācija mainās burtiski par dienām un tās tendences, kas bija varbūt nedēļu atpakaļ, viņas noteikti vairs nav šodien. Un kas būs rīt, mēs arī vēl nezinām. Man pārlica tehniski slaids, tātad kas es esmu 3 vārdos: personāla vadības maģistrs, biznesa trenere, vadītāja komanda coach, Velzone zīmola īpašniece un strādāju ar personālu. Pirms šī visa iepriekšējā dzīvē vadīju klātienes treniņus, tagad vadu neklātienes treniņus, pasniedzu studentiem turībā. Ar savu lietu dzīvoju, elpoju un to visu izbaudu labākajā veidā, kā to šobrīd var izdarīt. Tad tas, kas notiek šobrīd, ir jautājums, cik ilgi iespējams ir aizturēt elpu, ienirt, normāli papeldēt zem ūdens un pēc tam izpeldēt. Cik mums pietiek šī te spēka peldēt ar to aizturētu elpu, jo brīvi, daži elpo varbūt brīvi, es pieļauju, ka kaut kāda maza procentu daļa, daži neelpo vairs vispār, un daži, manuprāt, kas skrien maratonu skrējienu atkarībā no nozares. Līdz ar to, ko es jums šodien iedošu, es iedošu mazu statistikas informāciju, raksturošu situāciju, paskatīsimies, kādi ir risinājumi, tāpat veiksmes stāsti un tendences, kas šobrīd notiek. Slaidā ir pirms mēneša bija darbinieku deficīts, un īstenībā es burtiski 5 minūtes pirms prezentācijas pārgāju pāri. Es saprotu, ka tas jau nebija pirms mēneša. Mīlīši, tulīt būs maijs, un pirms 2 februāra beigas, marta sākums. Marta 1. nedēļa mums bija darbinieku deficīts, un darbinieks ar diezgan lieliem uzstādījumiem meklēja savu ideālo darba devēju, un man patīk šis uzņēmums, man nepatīk šis vadītājs, vai man patīk šis vadītājs, man nepatīk šis uzņēmums. Un, darbinieks bija zināmā mērā kings, kurš nosaka izvēli, un patiesībā esiet laimīgi, ka es tā esmu atnācis. Man nav tas, bet priecājieties, ka es tā esmu. Tas, kas ir šobrīd pamainījies, tātad datus man sniedza 2 organizācijas, viens ir Eiropersonāls un otrs ir CV Online, tie dati ir samiksēti kopā, tad tas, ko teica Evita no Eiropersonāla, Bet viņi man šo teica, tiešām tas bija nedēļa atpakaļ. Viņi saka, mums šobrīd ir pārtraukti vai iesaldēti 95% no projektiem. Iedomājieties, ir projekti un 95 ir iesaldēti. Un kaut kādi 5 turpinās, un tad tie ir ļoti īpaši, ļoti speciāli. Savukārt no CV Online Aivis intervijā stāstīja, ka publicēto vakanču skaits nokritis burtiski dažās dienās par 60%. Viņš saka, bija, un pēkšņi vairāk nav. Nevis tā kā iepriekšējā krīzē, kas bija 10 gadus atpakaļ, kad tas viss pamazītiņām un lēnītiņām brauc uz leju, bet vienkārši vienā brīdī nav vairāk. Un tie ir 60%, un tas, kas tur ir palicis, es pati pēc tam arī atvēru CV Online, paskatījos, ja pirms tam zem vakancēm bija 150, 250, 350, tās opcijas, kas tur ir, tad tagad kaut kādi 60, 70, 80. Tad tas, kas notiek no atlases kompāniju viedokļa, atteikums ir 99% meklēt ar atlases kompāniju palīdzību, tāpēc, ka to, ko dara uzņēmumi, organizācijas, viņi meklē paši. Šeit ir labā ziņa un šeit ir sliktā ziņa. Tad tanī brīdī, kad meklē paši, resursus vairāk tērējas no organizācijas un jautājums, kurš to dara. Vai tas nelaimīgais personāla vadītājs, kurus pārstāvat jūs, kurš jau tā ir ar galvu ūdenī, ar citiem darbiem un citām lietām, un viņam vēl ir jāveic šī atlase, vai tas ir tas pats personāla vadītājs, kuram ir jādomā, ko darīt ar nosacīti šī brīdī liekajiem darbiniekiem. Un trešais, ko es arī esmu dzirdējusi, ka atlasi veic cilvēki, kas ar atlasi nav saistīti. Un tā šobrīd būtu sliktā ziņa, tāpēc, ka pati esmu dzīves pieredzē saskārusies, ka tanī brīdī, kad cilvēks neko nesaprot no atlases, viņš izlasa manu CV, viņam vieglākais, lai no manas sarežģītā rebusa tikt vaļā, nospiest podziņa delete, tāpēc, ka nav skaidrs, ko tie burti tur nozīmē. Tātad faktiskais bezdarbs šobrīd ir pieaudzis par 0,5%, jo tie ir 7% bezdarbs Latvijā. Starptautiskais valūtas fonds prognozēja, ka varētu būt 8%, sliktākajā situācijā 10%. Atkal nav tik slikti, lai būtu drāma un panika. 2009. un 2010. gadā tie bija 18%. Tā kā tas vēlns nav tik melns, kā viņu zīmē. Tas, kas pieaug burtiski pēdējās nedēļas laikā, tā ir darba meklētāja aktivitāte, tāpēc, kā pirmais, es savās lekcijās un semināros daudz ko stāstu par traumas stadiju, un tur tāda traumas rampa, kad mēs no šoka, kad tā trauma ir sākusies, lēnām krītam uz leju, uz destrukcijas mehānismu, kamēr krīt uz leju un domā, kas tagad būs un kas notiks, un trauksme ar visām tām sekām īsti jau rīcība nenotiek, tāpēc, ka brauc uz leju. Ir vajadzīgs kaut kāds laiks gan cilvēkam kā personībai, gan arī organizācijai attapties, jo vienā dienā šitā pārorientēties ir diezgan sarežģīti. Un tas nozīmē, ka tagad tas process sev ir pagājis, situācija nosacīta ir stabilizējusies, un cilvēks sāk domāt, ko tagad darīt ar to visu tālāk. Darba meklētāja aktivitāte pieaug, jo arī tie uzkrājumi, kas ir bijuši, viņi ir skaidrs, cik ilgi ar to varēs izdzīvot. Daži, es zinu, sen jau strādā kaut kādos lauku darbos, meža darbos, īpaši tie, kas ir no kultūras puses, bija piemērs Twitterī, bija par Lauri Lisbovski, kas staigā ar cirvi apkārt pa mežu un kociņus stāda. Tad tas, kas ir statistikas datos, pieauga pieteikumu skaits ir palielinājies par 10% uz vienu vakanci. Un šī stabilizācijas sajūta parādās, jo tirgus svārstības nav vairs tas kritiens uz leju, viņš nāk uz augšu. Tas, kas notiek un kas ir vajadzīgs personāla vadītājam, ir vajadzīga šī papildus resursi, papildus laiks, lai apstrādātu vakances. Tās tendences vadošās ir ļoti tādas dinamiski izteiktas. Līderi tie, kas ir Maksima, tas, kas ir Rimī, vietējais top, to pat es nepārbaudīju pēc statistikas datiem. Es pati šobrīd no Salkrastiem. Salkrastos arī ir zīmīti uz durvīm, meklējam pārdevēju, iekavās uz laiku. Tad mēs meklējam, tu vari iet strādāt tulīt, bet rēķinies, ka tas būs laika darbs. Viennozīmīgi darbiniekus meklē preču piegādātāji, jebkuri kurjeri, mana manikīra nav apstājusies darbā vispār ne uz sekundi, zobārstam viss notiek, frizieri arī strādā, farmācija, medicīna, tas tā kā pats par sevi. Dīvainās tendences, par ko es sasmējos, man pāris dienas atpakaļ e-pastā iekrita šitāds te tekstīņš, jā, sakarā ar ārkārtas situāciju, mēs turpmāk piedāvāsim bezmaksas sludinājumus, kas tā kā būtu ok darba devējiem, bet tanī brīdī, kad ir bezmaksas piekļuve datu bāzei, nezinu, vai es kā darba devējs jūtos šausmīgi laimīga, ja mani dati tiek izkaisīti pa pasauli, jo neesmu jurista, bet tur vajadzētu papētīt, cik tas vispār ir tiesiski bezmaksas piekļuva datu bāzei, kur ir iekšā visas vakances. Tas, ko es noslēdzot šo te īso apskatu, gribētu no sevis pateikt jums, personāla vadītāji, kolēģi, to, ko izmantojiet, skatieties online sociālo vidi, es domāju, tas jums nav jāstāsta. Vakar lasīju semināru valsts administrācijas skolā, kur ir šī te vairāk ir iestāžu cilvēki pārstāvēti. Un ja tieši iestādēm līdz tam bija tā kā šie aizspriedumi pret neklātieni, ka tas ir sarežģīti, tas ir grūti, nav datoru un vēl kaut kas, tad vakar, godīgi, man bija viena no fantastiskākajiem semināriem, jo visi sēž online, viss notiek online. Pieņemšana, atlaišana, darbu uzdošana, projektu vadība, Eiropas projekti, viss ir online. Empātija. Jā, atcerieties, ka cilvēki ir nedabiskā stāvoklī. Šī nav viņu komforta zona. Līdz ar to, ja ir ārkārtas reakcijas, ieslēdziet savu empātiju, ieslēdziet savu emocionālo inteliģenci. Jo, ja jums pirms tam likās, ka šis cilvēks ir normāls, arī viņš šobrīd ir normāls, viņš vienkārši var reaģēt sāsināti, jo tas, ka mums visiem sāp, tas ir normāli. Nekļūstam augstprātīgi ar pazemību, jo mēs varam nokļūt visās situācijas pusēs. Vēl pirms 3 mēnešiem es zināju gadus priekš, ko es darīšu. Šobrīd ir situācija kardināli mainījusies. Un nav jābūt šausmīgā pārliecībā par sevi. Tas ir tā kā brīdinājums uztvert, ka esam elastīgi un saprotam, kas notiek. Sniedzam tiem cilvēkiem atbalstu, sniedzam savu profesionālo ieteikumu. Ja mēs nevaram viņu paņemt uz šo vakanci, pieturam zināšanai, ir labs kandidāts, dzīve turpināsies, šis viss beigsies un dzīve turpināsies. Tas, ko jūs varat darīt, ko es arī pati daru, mācaties papildus prasmes, apgūstiet IT, es jau māku datoram visas pogas pati atrast, psiholoģiju, pārdošanu, būs jāpārdod šis te jūs pašiem sevi kā personāla speciālistiem. Apzinieties savas stiprās puses, jums nav jābūt ekspertiem, visur eksperti ir apkārt, dariet to, kas ir, ko jūs varat. Galvenais atceraties, ka aiz katra CV ir dzīves cilvēks ar savām sajūtām, savām emocijām. Tas, ko Aivis teica intervijā, ko es klausījos, man ļoti patika, tik traki nebūs, un tas būs īstermiņā. Un īstenībā šie vārdi ļoti stiprinoši. Un savukārt Aiga Liepa man e-pastā rakstīja, mēs šobrīd esam daudz elastīgāki pret kļūmēm. Neviens vairs neuztraucas par bērnu smiekliem sapulču laikā vai aizķeršanos tehnikas dēļ, un tas ir normāli. Es pati vairs neuztraucos par to, ka es nevaru kādu vārdu salikt korekti kopā angļu valodā, kas kādreiz man bija tāds komplekss, ka es vispār centos nerunāt. Mēs tagad ar igauņu kolēģiem mierīgi saprotamies ar žestiem, ar smaidiem, ar valodu, ar Google Translate, un viss notiek zibenīgi un perfekti. Par šīs prezentācijas sagatavošanu īpaši paldies Evitai Maskevičai par datu došanu un tāpat Renāram Burskānam no CV Online. Paldies par uzmanību! Lejā ir mani kontakti, zvaniet, rakstiet, kā vienmēr atvērta un gatava sadarbībai, un lai mums izdodas, dodu vārdu tālāk kolēģim, lai stāsta savu tēmu.
Sveicināt atpakaļ. Kristaps ir atpakaļ. Tas, ko es atzīšos, mazliet aizmirst pieminēt, ka čats ir atvērts un droši, jebkurš no jums arī var uzdot kādus jautājumus šī webināra laikā. Un, protams, cik varēsim uzreiz atbildēsim, ja būs kas specifiskāks, tad varam arī pēc tam. Un, tagad ķersimies klāt pie manas tēmas, un es pastāstīšu, kā jau minēju, par šiem rīkiem un iespējām šajā laikā. Jo tas, ko reiz, protams, es vēlos minēt, ir tas, ka es esmu cilvēks vairāk tieši ar biznesa attīstības un pārdošanas pieredzi. Un arī atkal cilvēks, kurš ir diezgan bieži bijis situācijās, kad ir jāmeklē šis darbs vai nē. Tāpēc, attiecīgi, tas, ko es vēlētos uzreiz arī minēt, ir, kas ir svarīgi, kā mēs komunicējam un kā šis darba meklētājs jūtās. Līdz ar to tad, sākšu ar to. Citāts attiecīgi ir no Erika Čestera, kurš ir personāla atlases un nodarbinātības guru. Par viņu patiesībā es uzzināju tikai pāris dienas atpakaļ gatavojoties. Realitāte ir vienkārši tas, kā jūs izturaties par darbiniekiem un cilvēkiem pandēmijas laikā. Viņi to atminēsies, kad šī krīze būs beigusies. Un, attiecīgi, tas arī ir uzsvars ir uz to, ka ir jābūt tiešām atsaucīgiem, inovatīviem un adaptīviem. Kur tad meklēt šos kandidātus? Protams, es saprotu, ka lielākā daļa no jums noteikti zina pašus populārākos tīklus, avotus, kur šo meklēt, bet mans vairāk stāsts būs par to, ar kādiem, teiksim, outside the box veidiem to darīt, un tāpat laikā, kā to darīt izdevīgāk. Protams, sociālajie tīkli, tā ir viena no vispopulārākajām un mūsu vissvarīgākajiem stūrakmeņiem, kas mūs tur šajā mūsdienu laikā. Facebookā noteikti, kā jūs zinat, ir ļoti daudz grupas, dažādas grupas noteiktām nozarēm. Tāpat laikā ir arī darba sludinājumu grupas. Svarīgs ir, protams, arī jūsu uzņēmuma lapa, tēls. Par Facebook plašāk pēc tam pastāstīs mans kolēģis Mihkels. Attiecīgi, LinkedIn manā uzturē vispār ir, teiksim, tāda esošo cilvēku dzīva CV paradīze, kur jau mēs varam redzēt cilvēku gan izskatu, gan viņa pieredzi un arī viņu patiešo uzrunāt. Twitters vairāk gan būtu paredzēts priekš manā uzturē, priekš ārzemju darbinieku piesaistes, tomēr tāds mazliet globālāk. Mēs varam uz šo arī aiziet ne tikai ar LinkedIn. Un Instagrams, kāpēc? Jo tas ir atkal vairāk, tur ir jauniešu auditorija. Un šajā vietnē mēs jau arī varam redzēt tomēr kaut kādu rast pirmo iespēju par to, kā cilvēki dzīvo, kāds viņa intereses ir, un, protams, arī varam viņus uzrunāt. Attiecīgi, WhatsApp varbūt kādam šķist, kāpēc ir ievietots WhatsApp. WhatsApp ir tādēļ, ka es šeit gan padalīšos ar savu personīgo pieredzi, jo man dzīvē ir nācies diezgan daudz cilvēkiem patiesībā palīdzēt atrast darbu, un atkal darba devējiem atrast darbiniekus vai arī kādiem īstermiņa projektiem. Tad šajā gadījumā mana pieredze bija pagājušo gadu. Mana pieredze bija ļoti tiešām fantastiski iespēja strādāt ar BMW. Attiecīgi, Skandināvijas BMW dealers vēlējās Baltijā organizēt apmācības Baltijas un Skandināvijas darbiniekiem. Un, attiecīgi, šajā kontekstā, protams, nozīmē arī tam, lai jums ir labs networks, un, paldies Dievam, man viņš ir šiem gadiem sakrājies. Man izdevās caur WhatsAppu, uztaisot jau, teiksim, tādu sagatavojot sludinājumu tekstu, konkrētiem cilvēkiem vairākiem izsūtot, pāris stundu laikā dabūt 3 cilvēkus priekš šīs komandas. Un, attiecīgi, protams, kad šāda iespēja daudziem likties ļoti interesanta un saistoša, bet šeit atkal runa par kvalitīviem kandidātiem. Un šajā pieredzē arī dalos ar to, ka es vēlos arī iedrošināt arī jūs, kad arī ne tikai sludinājumu portālu un sociālajie tīkli kā tīkli, bet arī tas pats WhatsApp var būt veiksmīgs avots, kur jums iegūt labus kandidātus kaut vai saviem radiniekiem sūtot vai draugiem. Tas var nostrādāt, un šajā periodā es gribētu ieteikt cilvēkiem atmest savus ego un arī pat laikā atmest arī kaut kādas aizspriedumus, ko par mani padomās, jo galu galā padomās jau, zin kā, labu par tevi, ja tu sasniegs labu rezultātu. Darba sludinājumu portāli. Protams, šie visi mums ir ļoti labi, visiem zināmi, bet šajā gadījumā šos es esmu atkal ievietojis no cita aspekta. Es veicu mazu, teiksim, tā pētījumu par izmaksām, un tas noteikti jums cilvēku šajā periodā ir vissvarīgākais. Attiecīgi, sāksim no NVA, protams, ir bezmaksas sludinājumu ievietošana. Attiecīgi, šajā arī papētot šo adresi, es arī pamanīju pēdējā laikā ļoti daudz sludinājumu parādījušies. Attiecīgi, varbūt vairāk tie ir uzņēmumi, kur arī ir gatavi un ieinteresēti samazināt savus izmaksas, līdz ar to arī auditorija potenciāli citādāka. Nākamais te ir darbs. Šajā gadījumā arī viens sludinājums ir bez maksas. Nākamais Your Move. Your Move patiesībā arī var ieteikt no tā konteksta, jo viņiem ir ļoti laba pieredze atgūt atpakaļ Latvijā cilvēkus, kas ir strādājuši ārzemēs, un kuriem ir fantastiskas pieredzes ārzemēs, tieši latviešus. Šādā veidā viņi tiešām dara labu darbu, Un arī tāpat laikā arī šis ir ļoti labs avots, tīri tāpēc, ka viņš šajā Covid posmā piedāvā akciju, kad viens mēnesis ir bez maksas ar neierobežotu sludinājumu skaitu. Tāpēc manā uzturē tas ir tāds price performance, labs optimāls variants. SS sākot no 7,50 € sludinājums viens. Visi darbi, tas ir šajā gadījumā sākot no 20 € plus PVN. Prakses LV gadījumā tas ir par prakses sludinājumu bezmaksas vai attiecīgi par darba sludinājumu. Tas ir sākot no 64 € plus PVN. Un attiecīgi, ja jūs liekat prakses sludinājumu, tad arī automātiski šis sludinājums nonāk visās integrētajās augstskolās viņu portālos. Tas ir apmēram 25. Un tad, protams, paliek viena no populārākajiem, zināmākajiem, redzamākajiem, kas attiecīgi arī ir dārgāki, bet, protams, arī attiecīgi rezultāti var būt arī pilnīgi citādāks. Ir CV market šajā gadījumā 70 € plus PVN par vienu sludinājumu, un attiecīgi no CV online 180 € plus arī PVN par vienu sludinājumu. Un, attiecīgi, kas ir vēl svarīgi, ko es vēlos pieminēt, kad mūsu produktam Recrur ir integrācijas šajā brīdī ar CV online, ar CV market, un esam arī atklājuši procesā laikā, kad ir iespējams ievietot sludinājumu SSA, izveidojot Recrurā pieteikšanās formu, to ievietot mājaslapas sadaļā. Tā kā attiecīgi tas uzreiz pātrina šo procesu, jo ļoti daudzi uzņēmumi meklē darbinieku caur SS. Mobilās aplikācijas, šis arī ir igauņu veikums, ne gan mani kolēģi, bet citu igauņu. Attiecīgi šī ir kā mobilā aplikācija, un šī atlases lietotne palīdz atrast atbilstošus darba piedāvājumus visā pasaulē. Attiecīgi ļauj nolīt labus talantus, kuri jau ir nodarbināti labos projektos un piedāvāt viņiem labākus darījumus. Šajā brīdī arī kopumā, ņemot vērā situāciju, šis ir izdevīgs variants, jo ir pirmais mēnesis, jeb 30 dienas bez maksas, un attiecīgi pēc tam sākās no 129 € mēnesī. Nākamais ir, teiksim, vairāk arī atkal mans pieredzes stāsts, meklēšana pēc atslēgvārdiem. Lielākoties es pieļauju, ka tie, kas arī man šajā brīdī klausās, arī ar mani runājuši telefoniski, un liela daļa no jums es atradu šādā veidā. Es atradu meklējot pēc atslēgvārdiem, es rakstīju HR nodaļa, kontakti, un šeit es to stāstu tāpēc, ka pieņemsim, varbūt jums ir jāatrod IT projektu vadītājs, tad pieņemsim, varam rakstīt IT projektu vadītājs kontakti. Lielākoties jums, protams, izliks jau esoši uzņēmumi ar esošiem darbiniekiem, bet ņemot vērā šī brīža situāciju, viss ir ļoti neparedzams, un iespējams šis cilvēks jau ir, diemžēl, palicis bez darba un ir aktīvos meklējumos. Un esmu saskāries ar to, kad pēdējās nedēļās runājot, kad viss tiešām ļoti strauji mainās, un attiecīgi tāpēc es ieteiktu šo veidu noteikti pamēģināt, jo tas ir bezmaksas, un tas jūsu kontaktu un networku palielinās ļoti lielos apjomos, un ilgtermiņā tas strādās, es domāju, ļoti labi. Attiecīgi arī, kas ir ļoti svarīgi, uzņēmumam ir vajadzīga šī karjeras, jeb šo vakanču sadaļa. Attiecīgi šis ir ļoti nozīmīgs avots jūsu kandidātu iegūšanai. Protams, ka šis atvieglo kopējo atlases procesu abām pusēm. Pagājušo gadu pats arī saskāros, kad bija mājaslapas uzņēmumi, kuros nebija šī pieteikšanās forma, un tas no manas puses reizēm mazbūt tas tāds izlepīgums, bet mazliet paildzināja šo procesu un kaut kur samazināja motivāciju, bet atkal redzot to, kad ir šī forma, attiecīgi arī šeit arī bonus ir tāds, šis ir tieši viens no mūsu klientiem, Beno aptieka. Šis arī ir integrēts kopā ar programmatūru Recrur, kā rezultātā visa ievietotā informācija automātiski nokļūst Recrur datubāzē, un mēs varam strādāt. Kas vēl var palīdzēt samazināt izmaksas personāla atlasē? Tā ir digitalizācija, tā ir, teiksim, šī ātrā pārvaldība ar dažādiem procesiem, jo programmatūras mums palīdz iekonomēt laiku, mums nav jātērē tik ļoti daudz laiks uz administratīviem uzņēmumiem, uzdevumiem atvainojos, organizēt kandidātu datubāzi. Jūsu datubāze, teiksim, tā ir viena no jūsu lielākajām vērtībām, tāpat kā kontakti, un tas jums var pēc tam ļaut iekonomēt laiku, nemeklēt un nelikt sludinājumus, bet pieņemsim izskatīt to, kas jums ir esošie kandidāti, un ar viņiem strādāt ir iespējams vakances, kur viņiem noderēt. Un automatizēta atgriezniskā saite, kā arī automātiskas atbildes arī ir ļoti svarīgas, jo no savas pagājušā gada pieredzes aktīvi meklējot darbu, saskaros ar uzņēmumiem, kuriem ir ļoti švaki ar komunikāciju, kā rezultātā arī man bieži vien zuda šī uzticība un motivācija turpināt procesus. Jaunu prasmu apgūšana. Protams, šis ir laiks, kad mums ir iespēja apgūt prasmes. Mēs esam mājās, mums nav jābrauc uz darbu lielākajai daļai. Mēs varam iegūt kādu laiku, pavadot kaut ko jaunu apgūstot. Šīs ir noteikti būtisks faktors ir sociālo mediju personātlases kampaņas. Par šo sīkāk pastāstīs mans kolēģis Mihkels. Attiecīgi nākamais ir darba sludinājuma dizains. Protams, ir iespēja no dizaineriem iegādāties jau gatavus templates priekš darba sludinājumiem vai kādiem citiem vizuāli informatīviem materiāliem, bet tāpat laikā ir ļoti viegli arī to pašiem iemācīties un darīt, pieņemsim, vietnē canva.com. Tas no manas puses būtu, teiksim tā, viss. Es ceru, ka kādi no šiem ieteikumiem tiešām jums ir tiešām noderējuši un noderīgi, un es esmu gatavs arī dalīties, arī, ja kādam ir interesi vēl ar kādiem padomiem, jo tieši uzskatu, ka mana pieredze pagājušo gadu aktīvi meklējot darbu var noderēt kā ļoti laba atkal tālākā plāna veidošana, kā jūs meklējat savus darbiniekus un kā jūs viņiem komunicējat. Tā kā paldies par uzmanību, un es nodošu tālāk stafeti Mihalam. Michael?
Yes.
So it is your part right now. I'm finished.
All right. So thank you very much. I hope it was good because I didn't understand anything. I'm sorry. So a quick introductory about myself. So I'm from Estonia. And so that's why I'll be speaking in English because my Latvian is not very good, to say the least. So I hope my presentation is okay if I'm speaking in English and you can all understand. So I'm going to share my screen. And a quick forward as well. So I'm not a professional speaker. So in that case, it's highly likely that I will mess up a few things here and there. So please do bear with me. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about recruitment in social media. And I'm going to go into some technical details. And don't worry, I will send you sort of the slides and some additional information later on to follow up as well if you missed some of the more sort of technical stuff here. So a quick introductory about myself. Obviously, you can see I'm a bit vain. I'm 30 years old. I have 4 sisters and 1 brother. And at the very beginning, I actually studied to become a graphics designer instead. But as life would have it, I kind of ended up becoming a marketing manager. And I've been doing digital marketing for the past 6 to 7 years now. And I sort of started my marketing career in TransferWise. So TransferWise was sort of a startup in Estonia that sort of grew pretty big. When I started, it was 32 people. And when I left, it was more than 800 people. And that was along the sort of 3 years when I was there. It's growing bigger now. And so afterwards, I went to Recrur, which is a digital marketing agency. And I got to work with a lot of different clients from Estonia and, of course, outside of Estonia. And now I'm the marketing manager here in Recrur. And so, all right, the slide's already crashed. So, I want to sort of start off by speaking a little bit about marketing as a way of thinking. And the best way to sort of talk about that is kind of tell a story about how we had a little problem with recruiting in TransferWise. So TransferWise is it's a startup, and it's essentially money transfers across the borders. And the main issue with it was that we needed to hire a lot of developers and programmers. And so as you may know, hiring developers and programmers is not that easy. And so our recruiters came up with an idea to create a hackathon. So create like a huge event where all the sort of developers could get together and create a little event, like a quick product, and they could even get funding for their sort of a new product that they will be making within the first sort of 24 hours. And all the materials and everything had been made. And then as I was the head of, so my job in TransferWise was the social media team lead. And then the recruiter, and I was working under sort of marketing department, which was located in London instead. So it wasn't even located in Estonia. And so the recruiter came to me and said, hey, the marketing department doesn't want me to publish these materials. And so I was like, okay, that's weird. Recruitment should always have the support of like marketing department because, you know, growing and sort of hiring people is one of the most valuable parts of the company. But when I saw the sort of marketing materials that the recruiter had put together, I could definitely see why the marketing department had sort of declined to share the materials online. And it was a bit of a issue because the marketing department essentially didn't trust the recruiters to have access to social media because the materials were not very good. They made a lot of spelling errors. And since we were an international company, they had some issues with sort of creating like a flow for them in order to post things on social media in different languages other than English. So it was a bit of a conflict in between these two departments. And I was kind of in the middle because the person that came to me with it was the person who had actually recruited me. So I kind of owed her a favor for getting me a job. And now I need to kind of like help her solve this recruitment issue. And so we did kind of start working towards it, but in order to sort of help the recruiter get along better with the marketing department, I kind of understood that recruiters think completely differently than marketers. And in order to kind of bridge that gap, in order to help marketers and recruiters better understand each other, I need to kind of teach recruiters how marketing works and how sort of marketers even think, because it's a bit of a different way of thinking about the world in general. So the first sort of thing what to expect from these slides overall is I'll give you like a brief overview of the principles of marketing, and then I'll give you like a guide to social media recruitment overall, and then I'll show you a practical example that we've done as well. Now, so first off, let's talk about our biological hooks. So our biological sort of structure is built in a way that marketers can actually take advantage of. And you're being manipulated on a day-to-day basis by marketers. And so, for instance, in social media, the main way that you interact with anything really is through your eyes. And your eyes are structured in a way that help us kind of, to help us better kind of, we're vulnerable to certain impulses. So our eyes are actually sort of structured in a way that we perceive red colors from the center of the eye and the blues and yellows from the side better. And this is an evolutionary sort of thing for us. It helps us better navigate in the dark. And this is one of the reasons also why sort of roadside signs are usually made. If you're driving in the dark, then you'll see like when there's signs pointing towards towns. Most countries have those signs be yellow or blue. And our eyes also sense contrasts better in terms of color. And our brains are built in a way that our sort of eyes pick up faces everywhere, and that faces attract a lot of attention for us. And another thing is that from the side of the eye, we perceive movement a lot better. And I'll give you a few examples of this. So this is sort of an example of colors and contrasts being used. As you can see, most of these color palettes, it's essentially just, you know, pink and purple, but sort of creating a contrast between these two tones and sort of overlaying matte tones and sort of brighter colors. The contrast is created between those tones of the same color. You can see that there's a matte or like a more damper version of purple, and then there's a brighter version of purple. So these two contrasts make it easier for us to perceive, and then they also allow us not to get sort of, the designers don't have to use too many colors to kind of grab our attention, because most designs, if you go above 3 colors, it goes crazy. It starts looking like a rainbow, and it's not really a good look. So in most cases, you want to keep to 2 colors and then play with, you know, darker and lighter tones. And if you want to go really crazy, then use only 3 colors ever. Then this is a great example of movement. As you can see, you know, from the side of your eye, there's a little bug here. You probably already noticed it. then your eye will pick up movement better from the side. And this is, it's really a matter of natural selection. So the person that thought that the rock in the woods was a bear had a higher chance of survival than the person that thought the bear was a rock. So in that sense, sort of picking up movement from the side of your eye is super important. And marketers actually use this quite a lot in order to grab your attention. And another thing is that our brains are structured in a way to pick up faces in places where they don't even exist. So this is a very, very famous picture of sort of, you likely already can see where the face is on this picture. It's here. This is a famous picture of Mars. And when people saw this picture, they all thought that this was, oh no, it's the head of the Sphinx and it's aliens sending us a message and whatnot. Really was just some shadows and sort of a rock formation. It didn't even look like a face without the shadows. But since the people are sort of, our brains are structured in a way to pick up faces in such a sort of intense way because it's vital to our survival, then it took a lot of attention and sort of started a lot of conspiracy theories regarding it. And here's another example. So these are just random items or random places that remind us of faces. And our brains are structured in a way that we can even apply emotions to these faces, even though these are inanimate objects. Like for example, this set of pipes here seems to be having an existential crisis about what his role in existence is. And this mop here looks like he's angry about the fact that he's a mop. So we actually, our brains are applying emotions to everyday objects that remind us of just faces. And it's once more super important for our survival as a species. We are as humans, we are pack animals, and as such, it's super important for us to pick up each other's emotions in order to be able to predict each other's sort of behavior. And we start learning these principles very early as a child, being able to pick up the emotions on our mother and father and sort of the people around us. And it helps us sort of better navigate the world. Now, some other principles of marketing. Now, these are sort of thoughts that every marketer always needs to keep in mind when making messages or crafting ads or whatever they do. It's always to stay local and stay relevant. So an example of this would be, let's say, there's a news article. The news article says that a man in Brazil had sex with a pig. Now you'd be like, well, that's weird, but it doesn't really, it's not important to me, whatever. But now there's a news article that says, hey, a man in Riga had sex with a pig. And you'll be like, okay, well, that's interesting. I might know that pig. Let's find out. So chances of you clicking on that message is going to go way up. Always keep your messages simple and accurate. So simple means that whenever possible, pretty much in every single case, use simple words as humanly possible, even to describe complex ideas. And try not to use acronyms. So for instance, ROI is a marketing term, which is return on investment. If you're using messages that are condensed into like slang words or like words only like a very small group of people will understand, then that means you're limiting your audience by a huge margin. And it also kind of makes you sound, so if you use these sort of jargons in ads or like in sort of ad placements, then you'll see a lot less clicks through it. And having an accurate message means whenever you're designing your words, make sure you know exactly how they will be perceived. Think through it like, okay, how would somebody understand this if they were angry or sad or if they didn't have this other information? How would you read it then? And another thing is always lead with emotion. When somebody buys a Ferrari, they want that Ferrari before they're able to explain why. So let's say I buy a Ferrari. I want it because it looks cool. To my friends and family, I would make sort of excuses like, hey, well, the mileage is not that bad. It gets me from A to B. It has 2 seats. I don't need more than that because, I kind of like driving around, but I don't really drive that much. So the gas isn't that expensive in that sense. So you always you want something before you know you want something. And that's why you always lead with emotion, because emotion is what drives action. Now, habits and culture. So this is, I tried Googling for a picture of a traffic jam in Riga, and it seems to be like a wintry day. So if we know how our audience thinks, how they work, how their everyday sort of life looks like, then chances are we're able to better communicate with them. For instance, if you're trying to send out a message, but it's during rush hour, so you know people are going to be stuck in traffic and they can't actually read your message, and that's not a good time to send out that message. So always kind of have a good understanding of what sort of behavior patterns your audience is going through. If you're hiring for, let's say, developers, then developers are more likely going to spend time behind their computers. So you know that social media is actually going to be a pretty good way to reach them. And even during the day. So office workers, you can actually reach during the day, even during office hours. But if you're hiring, let's say, for store clerks or warehouse workers, then chances are they don't have access to social media during the day. So your advertisements might get better clicks if you post them more during the evening. And also, it's been shown that higher income job positions or sort of high income people, they spend more time using social media on their computers. And lower income people consume more of their social media time in their cell phones. And because cell phones are sort of more accessible as a price range. So that's just something to keep in mind. So habits and cultures, and trusting color psychology. So color psychology, in large part, has been shown to be bullshit. So you might encounter an article saying, "Hey, if you want people to like your food, paint your kitchen orange because it will, make people want to eat more and enjoy their food more." That's kind of nonsense, because color psychology, well, there is some merit to it. Then sort of colors are perceived in a matter of what we expect from the world. So we expect police officers to dress in a certain way. We expect our doctors to dress in a certain way. And if somebody approaches us, so we go into a house and somebody approaches us in a blue overalls, like a doctor, and asks us to get naked, then we're going to be mostly okay with it if they just explain it really easily. But if that other person is dressed as a truck driver and tells you, "Please get naked, I want to look at some of your stuff," you're going to be like, "No, what? Go away." And the same thing sort of occurs. And it also comes down to, for instance, certain colors are better for building trust than others. And it's really a matter of setting expectations. So let's say you live in Riga and your police officers dress in sort of mostly dark blue, something like that. So depends on how you perceive police officers. Then those colors might invoke trust, or they might invoke negative emotions, because you're used to seeing these colors, and these colors mean certain things for you. So red means stop, green means go. The same thing with color psychology. There's like certain habitual sort of things that you can get away with. But for example, if you go into, let's say, Brazil, the police officers wear green, so they don't really associate blue with police officers at all. And they don't trust their police. So if a bank tries to use the colors green on their landing page or website, then they're not going to be sort of building that much of an audience, because the sort of trust to the color green is very low. So those are certain things to keep in mind. So let's go into the principles of social media. One of the sort of key drivers for empathy and people watching your social media, so if you post anything, is being slightly vulnerable and sort of being empathetic. What it means is, if I always send out a perfect picture of myself, then it's not going to be as relatable as me with some flaws. And so how it kind of looks in practice is, if a company creates a message on social media, and they use like sort of this kind of like very official speak, and they use very carefully selected words, like politicians, for instance. Then they kind of protect themselves so they can't be criticized, but they also you can smell the bullshit usually. So being able to kind of speak to people in a way that they would speak is always going to have a better outcome, and is going to, have more empathy. People are going to have more empathy towards you, and they're going to trust you more because you trust somebody whose actions you can predict. And if you know that they're not perfect, then they can accept their own flaws. Then that's somebody who's, you're going to like them more, and you're going to sort of know what to expect from them. So influencers and celebrities. So you see a lot of companies use, it used to be a lot bigger, but now it's kind of going down, mostly because people kind of understand that using celebrities without actually selecting them very carefully first is going to not actually get you any additional help in working in social media. Meaning, if one celebrity does advertisements for everything, then people, once more, they can smell the bull. They will be like, okay, this is just somebody who's doing every single commercial possible. I don't really trust him saying anything anymore. So if you want to get like a brand ambassador or somebody who speaks in behalf of your company, make sure they actually trust your company and make sure they actually believe what they're saying. So, and another sort of interesting thought is, why do people share messages in social media? And anything you post in social media and anything anybody posts and shares is really a sort of them offering information about themselves. And if I share a post in social media, then I'm going to be thinking, okay, sharing this post in social media, what does this say about me? So if I share a joke, then that means, hey, I'm being lighthearted. I want to, create some happiness in the world. Or I'm going to, this joke criticizes something that I don't like. I'm kind of positioning myself politically. And so if somebody sort of says, hey, this is something we should be outraged about, then people are going to be like, yeah, okay, you're kind of positioning yourself politically. Like, I like this and I don't like that. So everything you share always says something about you, and anything anybody shares always says something about them. So if you want to get your messages shared, then craft them in a way that they say nice things about the people that share them. And I'm going to go back to this one a bit later on as well. So some social media words. What is a post and what is an ad? So on the left here, so this is an ad post we did for, so it's the ads are in Estonian, so my apologies. But essentially it's, we were helping hospitals recruit nurses, and during the Corona time. So it was a bit of a challenge. And so we created, so these are ads and posts from this campaign. And essentially what the message says is a heart center is looking for nurses / assistant nurses. And this is a post. A post is always sort of a square shape. And it's a square shape because it helps you get more sort of space on your computer and your sort of phone. So it's the optimal size of a post that goes on your wall of your Facebook page. And an advert is usually, it's on what you usually see on the side of your newsfeed. And it's sort of a flat shape because that's the format of the ad. So you want to get a maximum exposure. So like, comment, and share. What's the value? So basically, in a really basic way, if you have 100 friends, you post something on your Facebook wall. Maybe 10 friends will see it. If that picture gets comments and likes, then maybe 20 people will see it from your friends list. And if people share it, then it's possible that thousands of people will see it, more people than you have friends. But overall, Facebook will limit your reach by default, unless people engage with it. So that creates, so that's what we call organic reach, if it reaches further without you paying for it. Now, what's the average applicant or like a candidate journey for in social media? So usually you create an advert, a post, and then you kind of source. You can send an email, or you can send like a personal message, and then you direct them to a page where they can read more. The reason why you do so is that the reason why you don't put the big job post completely in social media is because if your message or like a picture is more than 20% text, then your Facebook will limit your reach. That means that let's say usually if you post this picture, it's less than 20% text, then Facebook will show it to 20 people out of your 200 friends. But if it has more text, then Facebook will show it to like 2-3 people tops. So that means you have to be very careful with your words and always use more visuals than text in your ads. And that's why you kind of want to direct them to a place where they can get more info. And in that sort of job posting where they can get more info, you have a method for them to candidate, sort of apply there, and then they can go into a candidate pool where you can kind of just sort through automatically. You have a list in front of you. And so how it kind of looks like in this particular case is we had adverts, posts, and we sent them by email. And those sort of adverts would all lead to this post where they would sort of this posting where they could read more information about the position and they could click on a button to apply. Once they applied, then they would just appear for the recruiters in a list, and they could just sort of pick out and sort through that list without actually, applying them manually, adding them, and so on. So it's essentially an automated process that makes it super comfortable and easy for recruiters to kind of go through a long list of candidates and just move really fast without doing lots of manual work, which is annoying, let's be honest. So what do you usually measure? So for each sort of step, you measure different things, or do you? So mostly you just measure the number of clicks, and that's really what's important. So in your advert, you measure how successful the advert was in sending people to your job posting. In your job posting, you measure how many people went through and clicked applied there. And in the candidate pool, you measure the number of applicants and how good quality they are. Do they actually fit the position or not? And you measure it for each step because each step needs to be measured separately. There's no point in measuring your advert in terms of how many quality candidates you got because you're going to get inaccurate data. So this is an example of a sort of a campaign I did in America, so in the United States, and it's for Rich Hair Care. And Rich Hair Care is a kind of a hair care, sort of it's shampoo essentially it's kind of like a luxurious brand. It has a sort of black and gold tonality, and they had huge sales in America, and they weren't quite sure why. So we did some research, and what we found out was so the people that we were working with, they were saying, hey, we're for rich people and people with higher incomes. And after doing some research, we figured out no, mostly the people that buy your shampoo are lower income people. So and they're black. It's black people with lower incomes, and they don't have a higher education. So it was like, oh, it was a huge surprise for them as well. And so that's what the data showed us. And there were mostly the users were in Florida. So in Tampa and Miami. And what we figured out was that people, so there's a sociological sort of thing that's happening, or like a sort of you may have noticed that in ghettos and in like sort of and sometimes in Russia as well, if you have lots of lower income population together, but one of those guys is rich, they're going to show everybody that they're rich. They're going to wear gold chains, they're going to have fancy car, and they're going to show off their wealth, because that's a way for them to distinguish themselves and position themselves higher in like a social hierarchy. If you get into a situation, and that's kind of across the board, it happens even in Africa, but if you get into a situation where the sort of income gap is lower, then people signal a lot less. The signaling, there's still some signaling. People will have like, hey, I drive a fancy electric car as opposed to like a gasoline operated Ferrari because I want to be eco-conscious and such. So it's going to be a different sort of signaling, but it's not going to be signaling based on wealth. it's going to be signaling based on values that I have. Like, hey, I'm I'm vegan because I care about animals. So that's more of like a wealthy population thing, where people that have a lower income, because that's kind of what's valued in their society. But if you're poor, then what you value is money. And if somebody shows off money, then you're going to like that person because that person might be valuable for you. And so Rich Hacker, so this guy is Rick Ross. And Rick Ross is a rapper. He does cocaine, and he eats in McDonald's 3 times a week. But he's rich, and people liked him, and he liked our shampoo. So we got him as an influencer, and he was a really good influencer. He drove sales up quite well. And he was because he really had the right tone to his people. He did have some heart problems at some point, so it was we had to kind of stop campaigning for a bit. But he's well now, and he's started to live a more healthy lifestyle, and he's sending a more healthy lifestyle message to his people now as well. So it ended up in a really nice place. Now let's get to some practical stuff. So I would like to introduce you to our designer, Rasmus. Funny enough, our designer studied marketing as opposed to me, who studied design and become a marketer. So it was the opposite for him. And we're going to show off. As you may have seen, that we kind of had like a small lottery. Out of all the participants who sent in their information and kind of marked that they want to participate in the lottery, we would kind of make the adverts for job positions for you for free. And we picked one of those people in a random tally, and we got this time the winner was IKEA. But we don't have IKEA designs ready, so we'll get in touch if you're listening here and you're from IKEA. We'll get in touch with you later on. But we'll show you what we did for last time when we did the same event in Estonia, the same presentation, but in Estonian. And the winner in there was Securitas. So Securitas is a security company, and we'll show you how we kind of went through the process of designing their job ads and what we were looking for and what we were kind of looking to improve. So Rasmus, are you with us? Rasmus?
Mute him.
Is he muted?
Yes, he's telling that.
Let me find out. Rasmus. So I'm going to unmute you. Sorry. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Good. So hi everyone, I'm Rasmus, I'm designer in Recrur, and let me share my screen. So, can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Good.
All right, so I'm assuming everybody else can see Rasmus's screen as well. So essentially, this is the advert that we had for, so the Securitas company had as before we kind of like, this is what they had done in the past. And what you're looking at is a lot of text that's condensed. There's barely any space. And because there's so much text all at once, it becomes difficult to read. And there is a very little contrast in terms of empty space and like free space and text itself. So that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to read. And also it's not segmented very well. So there's lots of dots there, but it doesn't the flow is broken. There's just, the picture is very bland. The colors are very damp. It won't stand out in social media. And what they also did was they posted this thing directly into social media. And people, they couldn't even measure the results. And they were just wondering, okay, well, it's not working that well, but let's have a look at those that we made them for them. So this is a new version that we made for their job posting itself. Now the job posting itself, what we essentially did, it has the same information on it as the previous one. But what we did was we condensed certain words together and we made the message more clear and concise. Concise means we made the message more we took away stuff that doesn't need to be there. So in their previous job posting, they would have instructions on where to park and how the parking situation would be like if you come into the interview. And they would say that we always pay you your salary on time, because it's a bit of a case with security companies. Like in the 90s, it was a huge case that the security companies would not be very trustworthy. But their brand is very well known. It's an international company, and nobody assumes that they're going to be messing around with salaries or anything. But they felt the need to include that, so we just took it away because it wasn't necessary, and we were able to merge certain things together. So explaining in a lot of detail, what you'll be doing, like in a patrol, is not really important here. We just say, you'll be patrolling. Most people kind of assume what it's going to be like. You don't need to explain it out in detail. And also it makes sense to sometimes not include all the information, because that gives the candidate more information. So that gives them a little hook, a little like a twinkle in their eye that okay, I want to hear more. I'm going to go to the interview. I want to see what it's going to be about. And so sometimes keeping information from people is going to be beneficial for you in the long run in order to get them towards the next step. Another thing we did here is we increased we used brighter colors. Brighter colors have a sense of, they stick out better in social media. And we used their own sort of brand book colors to do so. And as you can see, there's a lot more sort of empty space and bright space, and it feels a bit cleaner to look at. Can you show us another example? Okay, so this is a job ad, and so as you can see, the text is kind of lost in the background. You can't really read it that well, especially if it's in social media. It's kind of difficult to read. So it's white text on a white background, so it's not very good. And so what we did was we made increase the contrast a bit. Now, we have to admit it's not perfect, but we have to kind of abide by what it says in their brand book. But now it has a bit of a brighter color, and as we made the man a bit bigger on the picture, then the white text is a little better to read from the black background. Now, we could only use the pictures that they gave us, and we had to use the same font and the same colors as they had in their brand book, so we can improve it even better. But as you can see, it's a bit of an improvement already in the sense that the readability is better, and it actually sticks up better in social media. And this is an ad of the same post. As you can see, the ad has a bit more space, so the text becomes better to read. And the fun fact about keeping like a bright color in the background. So it's been actually shown that if your ad has a slightly better color, it creates a contrast not just within the post itself, but with the general general view of social media. If you go into a Facebook post, then most things, if you kind of blur things, it becomes sort of brownish, beigeish, sort of slightly yellow and gray. And having a bright color makes it contrast and stick out better, especially at the side of your eye. And as you can see, these little patterns on the right-hand side here, they create like this little twinkle in your eye. If you're not looking directly at it, they kind of feel like they're moving. And that sort of pattern, if your eye moves around in your social media feed, then it's going to feel like it's moving, and it's going to drag your attention to that post. So that's a little sort of an eye trick that we used. And as you can see, it's blue, and well, this one's actually called teal, or like it's green blue. And if it's going to be on the side of your social media feed, then it's going to stick out better. And I think that's all the examples of these ones. And so I'm going to go back to my slides.
Mikael, I believe there was some questions for you in the chat as well.
Oh, okay. So Mikael, some marketing expert says that currently it is useless to spend money on ads in Facebook because people are searching for events, trainers, webinars themselves. What is your experience now, or is it applicable for Latvia? So people, as you know, so our behavioral patterns have changed in overall in our lives. We spend more time at home and less time going out because of the Corona thing. But overall, we still spend a lot of time in social media. And in fact, we spend more time in social media than we ever have because people are bored. That also, so what also happens is people are also they don't have as much money anymore. So a lot of companies don't have as much money anymore. So what happens with this is a lot less companies are advertising because they don't have an advertisement budget anymore. But that also means that the cost of adverts is going to go down. So the population in Riga is a bit more than in Estonia. So Estonia is like 1.6 million people, and Latvia is what, like two or more, slightly more. Does anybody know? Can anybody write that in chat? So
less than 2 million.
It's less than 2 million. Okay, 1.9 million. Okay, so there's more people in Latvia than in Estonia. So that means that there's going to be more people are going to be bidding on adverts, and more people there's going to be higher competition. So in Estonia, in order to get like a very good reach, it's enough to just use 30 euros to boost a post, and you're going to reach like pretty much all of your audience. You're going to be reaching pretty much everybody. But if you go into London, which is a highly dense populated area, and there's lots of businesses and everybody's advertising, then it's going to be very expensive. Well, not very expensive, but a lot more expensive. So in order to get the same results in terms of grabbing population percentages, instead of 30 euros, you might be looking at 10,000 euros for one post as a boost, because there's more competition for the same space, and there's lots more people. But there's also some truth in what that marketer said. People are looking for things more. So when you need something, you're going to be always looking for it. You could be Googling it, you're going to be searching for it on your own. And people are now looking for more digital sort of experiences. So for instance, this webinar is, Recrur is not a very well-known brand in Latvia yet. We're fairly well-known in Estonia, but we're not very well-known in Latvia. And so before the Corona event, we may have not gotten so many participants. But since people are more open to digital experiences, we've gotten quite a few people in this sort of webinar with us. And we are a relatively unknown brand, so that kind of already says something about it. And we're going to be working more in Latvia for sure. And hopefully you will hear more about us. But I'm assuming, like before the event today, chances are you had heard very little of us, if at all. So that's an interesting observation. So people are going to be searching for things a lot more. So that's true. But advertising, if you have the sort of budget for it, is actually better now, I would say, than it has been before, because you can get more reach, you can get more eyeballs, you can get more clicks for less money. So I hope that answered your question. But if you have more questions, then feel free to shoot them in the chat here, and I'll try to answer it. And maybe there was more, but okay. So I'm gonna share my screen now, and then just finish my presentation, and then maybe I'll be able to grab a few questions after the presentation as well. Just a sec. Sharing my screen. All right. So once your presentation is done, in order to get in order to post things on social media, and if you have your design ready, then what's always super great to do is communicate with a lot of different people in your company. Communicate with your PR person, communicate with your team lead, communicate with the marketing department, because marketers, there's a difference between art and design. Art is something that, hey, I'm expressing myself. I'm going to be like, hey, sending out this message. It's about me. Design is more about, okay, we need to get a very specific result. We need to know exactly what people are going to be doing. And so getting more opinions on things is going to help you make things better. Even sometimes, you're going to get crappy feedback that's not very helpful. That's all right. It's still feedback. They're going to be expressing what they feel about it. And that's already something that you can use. So never be married to your idea. So that's like one of the things that marketers use. And everything is, you have the greatest idea ever. Somebody shoots it down. They have a really good reason why they shoot it down. That's cool. then improve, do it better, and do it next time again. So marketing is mostly about kind of like testing new things all the time, and then using those things that have been proven to work, that you have data on, you can measure it, and it's going to work. And so communicate. Make sure you have all the information, and that's going to cost you less in the long run. And so that's actually the end of my presentation. I'll be able to take a few questions now, and let's see what we have. Can you give an example of a good or best practice of employer branding? Okay, and employer branding is like a very so much like marketing in general, it consists of like lots of small details. So there's a thing called, for instance, internal marketing, which is mostly about marketing to the inside of your company. Similar in a way that governments do propaganda on their own people. Same way a company would send messages and give their own employees words to use. So each and every employee becomes like kind of like a brand ambassador for your company. But there's an issue with that as well. So if your internal marketing is too good, you're doing it you're doing it a little too good. You're being way better than everybody else. It's going to feel culty. Like people are going to be like, "Whoa, they're like Mormons, or like they're like a religion almost." It's like people will get switched off with that. So always give people the ability to kind of like use their own words, but kind of make sure that they understand why you're putting out a certain message. A great example on who to follow in terms of like great employer branding. People usually there's like a perception that older companies like banks have great brands and whatnot. Not really. Usually you'll see that the best brands are companies that people want to like have. You already think that they're like an exclusive brand. So like for shoes, it's Nike or maybe Adidas, or for like if you have a very successful startup, then they are successful for a reason. They're doing like certain things right. So in Estonia, like TransferWise is a prime example. They grew huge really fast. They made lots of money. They're still making lots of money. And they have like a really good hiring system, and they kind of like do internal marketing pretty well. They have lots of great ads. They did stunts, and they don't feel like a money company. Another one is in Estonia. Once more, you have Meet Frank. Meet Frank has a very distinct. So they have first of all they're a recruitment company, or like a recruitment platform in a way, and they have very good ads. They have a great use of color, great use of contrast, and they have a very good system for hiring people. They use their own platform, obviously, but it also depends a lot on something that will work for a startup might not work for your company, because your company is more like a traditional business. So, for instance, if you're hiring for a department store, then it doesn't really make sense to advertise, people in suits and stuff like that. So you might see obviously big department stores, like let's say Maxima or Rimi might be really famous, like sort of brands that in Riga, but people look forward to working there. Or do they look more forward to working in a Nike stores? It really depends. So in Estonia, you have department stores like that as well, and you have huge department stores. And so people actually look really forward to, for instance, working in Selver, because they have a good brand. They with their sort of target audience and the people that they hire, they have a sort of really respectable brand. The department store looks clean. They treat their staff well. And everybody who works there says, yeah, it's a cool place to work. I mean, I get treated nicely, and I have some freedom to say what I can do in my schedule. Their designs are really nice, and that sort of thing starts working really well, because the best sort of way to hire is through your existing employees. And if those employees say good things about you, hiring is going to be easy. But if these people say bad things about your company, then you're going to be looking at a lot of trouble hiring. So it really comes down to sort of the recruitment process and also firing process. If you're hiring somebody, then how good are you communicating? Are you communicating quick? Are things running smoothly when you communicate within the first few days? And are you being honest with them? And are you kind of like not hitting their egos very hard if you have to say no? And if you need to fire somebody or make redundant, so that's a really popular thing. If you make people redundant, then there's like a way of doing that that's not as hurtful. If you kind of like say, hey, yeah, the company is kind of like currently in this situation, we really have to do something. We loved working with you, but we're in a really tight spot right now. Things aren't the way they used to be. We hope we can hire you back one day, but right now it's just something that needs to be happening. I'm really sorry, and I loved working with you personally. Then that person is like, okay, I understand. I mean, the situation is crap. I don't like being fired or made redundant, but they're going to be understanding. And when they talk to another person, like, hey, yeah, I got made redundant, I hope I can go back, then that's going to be helping you hire in the future a lot better. So it really comes down to like just, the culture, the sort of how clean the message is, how well everybody gets along in the company. And if everybody says that speaks the same language, and obviously, if you're able to use empathy in your advertisement, in your social media, and in your kind of recruitment process, you're always kind of communicating clearly, concisely, and you have a good connection with your audience. So obviously, like a good thing, like building any relationship is just about, making sure you're honest with the person, you have a good understanding of whatever is doing. So I think we're like way over time now. So if you guys have questions, feel free to shoot. But also, what else you can do is, if you don't have questions now, but you want to ask maybe later on personally, then feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn, or you can write us an email. And if you want to get like a personal consultancy, or like if your company needs some help figure out some designs and stuff, then we also do like some free sort of if free is like we won't build a whole campaign for you free, but we'll consult you for free, and then we also offer that as a service. So if you guys are interested, feel free to get in touch. It's something that we're really passionate about, and we love doing. Am I alone? So that's it from me.
Not alone.
Okay. Thank you everybody for being here, and thank you for paying attention to me rambling on for like an hour almost. I hope I didn't bore you, and I hope you found some value in the information. And we'll be sending the slides, making them available, and some more information like this. And we'll make this information available in Latvian, so you can actually read it in your own language. I'll have Kristaps here translated from English to Latvian as well.
Jā, tieši tā. Tā kā, jā, paldies visiem, kas esat piedalījušies. Un tiešām esat ar mums visi bijuši arī kopā visu šo laiku, stabili noturējāmies. Tā kā, jā, Elita pastāstīja par aktuālāko situāciju, un jūs iedvesmoja. Es pastāstīju, kā saka, arī par rīkiem un par tādām praktiskām vairāk no savas pieredzes iemaņām un lietām, kā darboties. Ja tiešām ir kādi jautājumi, tad droši varat man, Elitai, Mikalam dot ziņu. Prezentācija pēc tam arī viss šis tika ierakstīts, pēc tam tika sagādāts jums materiāli, kur bija reģistrējušies arī video, un droši, protams, arī Mikalam uzdodot jautājumus, kā jūs redzat, dzirdat, viņš var tik runāt un runāt, jo viņi tas aizrauja, un jā, tiešām paldies jums vēl vienreiz visiem, un yes. Ok, Mikal, I think we can wrap it up. Nu, ja vienīgais vēl kādam ir varbūt kāds papildus steidzamais jautājums, droši var tagad uzdot, bet es domāju, ka varam arī beigt. So yes, Michael, I think we can end it because I offered them to ask the questions, but everybody is writing good words for us. So yes.
People like us. That means we did well.
Yeah. Zvaniet, rakstiet, tiekamies drīz, cerams, klātienē. Paldies visiem.
Much love to everybody.